So for my Chapter 9 application, I was given the scenario of the 30-year-old single father with two kids, 4 and 5 years old, with a full-time job, and he wanted to work on strengthening. So for the FIT principle, F meaning frequency, the patient should really strive to be physically active for 2 or more days a week. And then for the I, intensity, the patient's exercise should involve all the major muscle groups, and it should be intense enough to improve the individual's muscle strength and body composition. Then the first T for time, the muscle strengthening exercises should be done until the point where another rep or repetition could not be done without assistance. This can be achieved through doing reps of 8 to 12, and especially doing multiple sets, such as sets of 2 to 3, or 2 to 3 sets, I'm sorry. And then the type of exercise, so the typical type of exercises would be pull-ups, weightlifting, and resistance bands, but obviously with having a full-time job and being a parent full-time, you can't really go to the gym for that. So for this patient in particular, in replacement of pull-ups and weightlifting, if he's ever playing with his children at the park, at the playground, even in his own backyard, that can help him, especially with weightlifting. So when he's picking up his kids, throwing them in the air and catching them, that's really working out his muscle groups in his arms and even in his legs. And if they're on a playground and they're playing on things such as monkey bars, he could really use that in replacement of pull-ups, pulling himself up onto those monkey bars to play with his kids, because family time is really important, especially when you're a single parent. And then the third and final exercise included, given by McGuire, was the resistant bands. And he could still use the resistance bands even though he is a single father with a full-time job. Resistance bands are very travel friendly, and so even if he used those resistant bands at work on his lunch break or on any other break that he got during that time, he could do a few sets of 8 to 10 reps and really work on that strengthening during work as well. So the second scenario that we were given was about creatine supplements, and that a 17-year-old cross-country runner was inquiring about wanting to use a creatine supplement. My advice for this cross-country runner would definitely be not to use the supplement, and my reasoning would be in clinical trials, the supplementation was shown to enhance high-intensity, short-duration athletic performance, such as sprinting, whereas it didn't really enhance or benefit the athletes in low-intensity and endurance sports, such as that long-distance running that cross-country runner is participating in. Excuse me. Another good reason for this runner not to use those supplements is that due to his or her age, a lot of studies haven't been done on anyone under 18. Most of the studies have been on adults or 18 and over athletes, so there would be more of a risk to the patient's health because of the lack of studying. For the third and final scenario, it was about carbohydrate loading, and we had a 30-year-old female who was 125 pounds. She was a recreational runner and ran a mile in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And she asks about how to carb load for her 5K this weekend. So for this patient, I would definitely advise her to just keep a healthy diet or a well-balanced diet that satisfies both her nutrient and energy requirements. And that's more than sufficient enough to prepare her for this 5K that she has. And the reason why she doesn't need to carb load is because studies show that extensive carbohydrate loading isn't necessary for recreational athletes. Um, and also, these studies have found as well that athletic competitions that have a duration of less than 60 minutes, carb loading isn't beneficial at all. And with running an 8.5 minute mile, she would only approximately be physically active for about 26 ish minutes, give or take a couple minutes. So that carb loading wouldn't help her at all. So instead of worrying about that carbohydrate loading, she should more focus and worry about eating a healthy and well balanced diet. And all of my information, all of my references were given from our nutritional science textbook written by M. McGuire.